Happy Valentine's Eve. What is all this Galentine's talk? I'm Darren, and this is 3 things you need to know for Tuesday, February 13th. There's a crazy bug that hits a lot of people the day after a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl flu, as it is called, causes offices everywhere to be less productive. All is not lost, though. Buffalo Wild Wings has the cure. Since the game went into overtime, you can pick up 6 free wings on February 26th from 2 to 5 p.m. Get well with wings soon. Touting goods at very cheap prices may have made you join Temu over the last year. If you're unaware, it's a Chinese-backed company owned locally in Boston, Mass., which is owned by Pinduoduo, a Chinese online shopping site. They're trying to take more market share from Amazon and other companies. They paid a lot of money for Super Bowl ads, 3 during the game and 2 afterwards. Bitcoin is running up before the halving event, April 19th. ETFs have only fueled the run-up fire. $500 million worth of Bitcoin was purchased just on February 9th. Trade while you're sleeping across time zones with Arbitrage Trade Assist. Sign up today at arbitragetrade.com. Arbitrage Trade is your trusted source for business, finance, and tech info.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Stay or pay hiring. Caroline writes, have you heard of a non-compete agreement or NCA? About 20% of Americans work under a non-compete agreement in their employment contract. The Federal Trade Commission defines it as a contractual term between an employer and a worker that blocks the worker from working for a competing employer or starting a competing business, typically within a certain geographic area and period of time after the worker's employee ends. Non-compete clauses tend to discourage workers from leaving jobs, and they decrease competition for workers, thus lowering wages over time. Non-compete clauses are common in professions such as media, financial services, corporate management, manufacturing, and information technology. In the United States, the legal status of non-compete agreements are subject to individual state regulations. Some states do not enforce them at all, while others limit the length of time it can be enforced. Stay or pay clauses are similar to NCAs, in that they can discourage employees from quitting or changing jobs. A typical stay or pay clause is called a training repayment agreement provision, which, if you look at the initials, is TRAP, T-R-A-P. And they stipulate that the cost of the on-the-job training will be borne by the employee. This type of clause was common only for certain high-paying roles and for specialized industries, such as airline pilots and software engineers. As the use of stay or pay clauses has grown rapidly over the past decade, especially since the pandemic, these agreements are now being applied to bank workers, salespeople, police officers, firefighters, nurses, electricians, and even teachers, and even estheticians and dog groomers. Some legal experts estimate that stay or pay clauses could now be in industries that employ 1/3 of all American workers. The cost of hiring and training workers used to be shared by employers, unions, and the federal government. But as government investment dried up and union density began to drop, employers began searching for ways to pass those costs to their employees. In the early 1970s, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit noted that companies providing specialized training to their employees could require reimbursement if the employee should quit before the employer achieves any benefit. But the court emphasized that the penalty should be closely tied to the cost of the training. The employer may not require its ex-employee to make payments to it unrelated to the employer's damage, simply as a penalty to discourage or punish a job change. Many small business owners say these agreements help them stay afloat and manage their labor costs, which is the largest expense for most businesses, by making sure their investment of time and money doesn't walk out the door. Critics contend that training is a business overhead cost, and making employees agree to repay training expenses is similar to requiring restrictive non-compete agreements. The line between recouping costs and penalizing workers for leaving can be blurry, and companies have increasingly taken advantage of that ambiguity. Regulators, government officials, and politicians are starting to take notice of stay or pay clauses. The FTC's proposed ban would include traps that operate like de facto non-competes, although it's unclear how that category would be determined. Last June, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced an investigation into practices that leave workers indebted to employers, indicating that it may use its power as a consumer debt watchdog to intervene in such cases. For now, it's up to you to avoid funding an employee's overhead when you quit. Read all job offers, employee policy handbooks, and all associated documents carefully before accepting a new job. Stop watching, start living using Pips, our AI bot. Go to arbitragetrade.com and check out Arbitrage Trade Assist.
Song again. Here's that song again. For the 100th time today. Here's that song again. It's gonna be stuck in your head all day. Here's that song again. It will make you cray cray.
You love your kids enough to watch that TV show a bajillion times. Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat for their age and size. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Pips. Pick of the day. Arbitrage algorithms have detected a possible uptrend for CVS Health Corporation. That's CVS, a retail store with pharmacy and health clinics. CVS gapped below the RSI line mid-January and just popped back above it. This could keep momentum going up and make the RSI a line of support now. This will be the true test if it pulls down to it. Price right now is sitting right in the middle of the last 52 weeks. It closed Monday at $77.29, 52-week high of $89.99, and a 52-week low of $64.41. We are not financial advisors. We provide a service. Please do your own research. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC, please visit arbitragetrade.com.